Good morning, Year 6. It is Tuesday the 7th of July, and today we are finding pairs of values. So our first question, if A equals 4, find two possibilities for B. The answer is greater than 10 and less than 20. So straight away, I'm going to put 4 here, times something, and this answer has got to be between 10 to 20. Okay? It's got to be greater than 10. It's got to be less than 20. So it can be any number in the middle. Okay, so we've got that there. So looking at this, 4 times something must equal between 10 and 20. So let's have a look. 4 times 1. Well, we know 4 times 1 is 4, so it's not going to be that. 4 times 2 is 8. So it's not going to be that because that's less than 10. 4 times 3 equals 12. So it could be 12. And 4 times 4. So B could be 4 as that equals 16. Okay, so we've got our answer as 3 and 4. Next question. Which of the options satisfy the equation? So we need to substitute these numbers here into these letters. So we're thinking about 4 times 19. So 4 times 19. So if I think 4 times 19, well, I know 4 times 20 is 20, 40, 60, 80. And then take 4 away, well, that's 76. So it doesn't equal 78. So our next one is 13 times 6. So thinking about 13 times 6, we have got 13 this side and 6 this side. Okay, well, 13 times 6, I know that 13 times 5 equals 65. So then I add another 13 equals 78. So 13 times 6 equals 78. So B does, so I can highlight B. What about 3 times 26? Well, I know 3 times 25 equals 75. And then add the 3 on for 26 3 times. Well, that equals 78. So that is correct. And then 2 times 38. Well, 2 times 40 equals 80. And then take 4 away, because we're 2 away each time. So that equals 76. So it's just option B and C. So we're going to have a look at the video today that goes with the worksheet.
Hello there and welcome back. We're going to have a look at finding pairs of values, and we're going to start off with some shapes. So then, the circle and the square represent positive integers. And remember, an integer is a whole number. So for example, 3, 4, 5, anything that's not got a decimal point. So then, when we add them together, it equals 5. So then, what numbers could the square and the circle be? How many different possibilities are there? So I want you to have a go at that one first. So pause the video, have a try at that first. Let's have a look at them. Let's represent this problem with a table to help us. So we know that if we add the circle to the square, it totals 5. So we can already fill in the total. Let's try a value. Well, if the circle is worth 4, then the square must be worth 1. If the circle is worth 3, then the square would be worth 2. I can see it's a bit like number bonds to 5. So those are they could have. So, a similar problem now, except this time, when we multiply the values, it gives us 15. So, what could it be? Pause the video. What could the values of the circle and the square be? So let's represent it using a table again. We know the product is 15, so we can fill that in already. So if one of the factors was 1, Or if the circle was worth 1, then what would the square have to be? Well, it'd have to be 15. 1 times 15 is 15. What happens if the circle is worth 2? What would the square be worth now? Well, it would have to be 7.5 or 7.5. Ah, right, there's a problem here. They represent integers. Okay, so actually, I can't have that combination. The circle can't be worth 2. What happens if it was worth 3? Would it work then? Well, yes, it could be 5. And then I can fill in the other combinations it could be as well. What about this one? We've got a plus b equals 5. And a and b are both positive integers. What numbers could a and b be? How many different possibilities are there? Pause the video, have a think for yourself first. I wonder if you noticed anything. I've brought back the circle plus square thing we had from the start. And we can see that actually, instead of using a letter A, or an algebraic symbol A, I've just used a circle. And actually, I could use the same answers I got from the first question here. So they're pretty much exactly the same. If A was 4, B would be worth 1. In the same way, if the circle was worth 4, the square would be worth 1. Oh, okay. What about this one then? So 2x plus y is equal to 13. What about circle plus square equals 13? What's the same and what's different about these two ideas? So pause the video. Can you explain it? What's the same, what's different? Let's have a think about that. Let's do some substitution. If I substitute the two circles for two x's, and if I substitute the square for a y, I've got x plus y, which is the same as 2x plus y. So I could have represented that problem as, well, it could have been 2 squares plus a circle equals 13, for example. So let's have a look at this one then. We're going to use a table to help us. There's parts of this table we already know. We know the total of 2x plus y. That's 13. Let's start putting some numbers in. What if x was worth 1? Well, if x was worth 1, 2x would be worth, well, that'd be 2 times 1, which is 2. Now then, how do I work out y? I know that if I have 2x plus y equals 13, well, if 2x is worth 2, then 2 plus my missing number must be worth 13. Y must be worth 11 then, because 2 plus 11 is 13. Excellent, I've worked that out. Let's try a different value of x. What if x is worth 2? Well, then 2x would be 4. And 4 plus something is 13. Oh, that'd be 9. Okay. So then, if x was 3, if x was 4, and x was 5, can you work out those missing values? Pause the video. Can you work out those missing values? Let's have a look then. Well, if x was 3, then 2x would be worth 6. And then I have to figure out, well, what do I have to add 6 to get to 13? Well, that's 7. Then it would be 8 and 5, and then 10 and 3. I wonder if you noticed any pattern with the y's. It seems when I increase x by 1, y decreases by 2. I wonder if this pattern will continue. Might be something you want to look at. So, I want you to have a go at this one now then. If 3y plus t equals 20, can you work out these missing values? Pause the video, complete that table. Let's have a look then. So, given that y is 1, and we know that 3y plus t equals 20, so we can actually fill that bottom row in straight away. So 3y, well actually I can fill that line straight away because I just need to multiply whatever the y value is by 3. Now then, I need to think about what's t going to be. Well, 3 plus something for the first column is equal to 20. Well, that'd be 17. The next one, well, 6 plus 14 would be 20. Then it'd be 9 and 11, 12 and 8, and then 15 and 5. Oh, okay. We've got a subtraction in here now. 3y minus t equals 20. So, we've got our values of y, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 3y, if y was 1, would be 3. And I'll take away t and it gives me 20. So, 3 subtract t equals 20. Is that right? Let's think about it a different way. What happens if we thought t was 1? So, 3y minus 1 is equal to 20. So if I think about adding 1 back on, I can see that 3y would have to be 21 in order if I took 1 away from it to be 20. So therefore, to work out the value of 1y, I could just divide it by 3. So y would be worth 7. So see if you can figure out the other ones. Pause the video, have a go for yourself. So you could have had, if t was 4, then it might look a bit like this. And here's some of the ones you could have had. But there were lots of different possibilities you could have had. I'm going to finish with a problem. Whitney goes into a shop and buys 3 apples and a drink. It costs her 80p to do this. What could the items have cost? Pause the video, have a bit of an explore about that. Let's have a look at that. 3 apples and a drink. We know when we add them together, that's equal to 80p. So we're going to substitute the apples for an x and then the drink for a y. So 3x plus y is equal to 80p. So what if an apple costs 10p? Let's think of our expression here. Well, if we're going to substitute the apple, which we said was x, for 10p, so 3x would be 3 times 10p. So that means that would be 30p. 30p plus y equals 80p. So y must be worth 50p. What happens if the apple was worth 11p? Well, we take our same expression, but this time it's 3 times 11p, which would be 33p. Add y is 80p. So to work out that, I could do 80p subtract 33p, which means it would be, y is 47p. So your turn now. Have a go at the worksheet if you have it, but don't worry if you don't. There's material you can get on the BBC Bite Size website.
Okay, so have a look. See if it all makes sense. So this is your worksheet. So remember the pictorial part here, and you're just substituting them for letters and numbers. And just as on the video here, you can see you're building up A, doubling A, and then you're subtracting A away from total to get B. Don't forget to have a go at your learning by questions as well.